bakery, sweets, plus her little sideline of breaking into houses, along with planning her wedding. She had known nothing of a family connection to Ireland, much less the fact that she and Beau would be taking their honeymoon trip there. The unknown still awaited, an inheritance of some sort. When the letter and first-class air tickets came from a law firm in New York, she'd first discounted it as a hoax. But Beau had used his pull as Taos County Sheriff to do a background investigation, discovering that the attorney and the news of the inheritance was real. Now they would meet the lawyers in Galway, where her great-uncle Terence O'Shaughnessy had lived. She had verified the family connection as well. The main thing she didn't know yet was what, exactly, she'd inherited.
"Oh, you'll love the Harbour Hotel," Kathleen was saying. "Right beside the dock for the small bloat harbour. Big excitement here last year when the racing yachts came in. Galway was the finish line for a race that went around the whole world. We partied for a week, Begorra." She went on to describe fireworks and cannons, food vendors, and more than a few people who overindulged as they listened to shows by rock bands. Sam found herself wondering just how noisy an area it might be. "Oh, this time it should be quieter, even though the hotel will be full," Kathleen said. "The horse races start soon, but that's off on the other side of the city."
Sam loved the young woman's accent with its rounded vowels and crisp consonants. The miles rolled by and she caught herself dozing lightly, despite thinking she'd slept fairly well on the flight. Kathleen chatted on, prompted once in a while when Beau would ask a question. Soon they began to slow for traffic. Open fields in every shade of green gave way to neat yards surrounding two-story brick and stucco homes, many with B&B signs out front. Larger hotels appeared, and after a confusing series of turns, a railway station. A large park across the road from it seemed to be the site of an event of some sort. Kathleen negotiated the narrow streets, the many turns, and avoided throngs of pedestrians who had walked with an intensity in their strides. About the time boat masts appeared beside a long concrete dock, Kathleen made a quick turn and stopped at the entrance to the Harbour Hotel. A uniformed man took their bags, and Beau headed for the long teak desk. Sam took in the polished marble floor, pale walls, heavy glass doors leading to the wings, groupings of chairs upholstered in primary purple and blue, with a sleek marble fireplace against one wall and a pub entrance beyond it. While Beau dealt with checking in, Kathleen turned to Sam.
"Mr. Ryan would like to take you out to breakfast," she said after a glance at a text message. "Shall I tell him that's all right?"
"That'd be very nice," Sam said. Although it wasn't yet 9 o'clock, the small sandwich aboard the airplane might have been eaten days ago. Kathleen began tapping keys on her phone.
"How much time would you like?"
30 minutes?
"Perfect."
She sent the message and received a response as Beau joined them. She looked up.
"Mr. Ryan will meet you there in the lobby in a half an hour."
Beau reached into his pocket for the unfamiliar cash he'd received in exchange for dollars at the airport.
No need," Kathleen said. "Everything's been covered."
She flashed a smile, turned back to the limousine, and had driven away in less than a minute. "She's right about being covered," Beau said. "They didn't even want a credit card for our incidentals when I checked in." A bellman appeared, taking the handles of their bags and leading the way toward a group of elevators. On the 3rd floor, he opened their door, rolled the bags inside, and vanished before either of them could reach for money. Sam and Beau exchanged a wide-eyed look. Seriously? No hand reaching out for a tip? With its thick duvet and plump pillows, the king-sized bed looked inviting, but Sam reminded Beau that the attorney would show up in a few minutes. "Look at this view," he said, while she opened her suitcase and rummaged for the makeup kit that held her hairbrush. She stepped over to the large window, which he opened to the fresh morning air, and saw that they were near enough to the corner to see both the street and the boat harbor. Below, at least 100 small and mid-sized sailboats bobbed at their moorings. A few people milled about, some with mugs in hand, obviously just awakening and coming up onto their decks. Across the busy street stood a high, moss-covered rock wall. From below, there had been no clue what was behind it, but from this vantage